Hey guys, Anime Gypsy here with a Boruto review, and honestly, I have to say, just right off the bat, this is one of the better episodes I have seen of Boruto. This is up there with the episode where Shino fights um, his students. This is by far, it was just a wonderful episode in my perspective, and the reason for it is it's jam packed with a lot of stuff, a lot of things that I think fans really liked, and also the main story in this episode has some real world implications tied to it, and really does deliver a strong message to us about daily life and the jobs we choose to pursue in the future when we become or as we are in our professional careers and how to deal with them. Just this episode was so good. I can't stress it enough. This episode in my out of 10 rank is easily a 9 out of 10. This is a 9 out of 10, if not a 9.5 out of 10 episode. Easy. A very good episode. The voice acting was on point. And again, I think it's because there was a message there that needed to be um, delivered about people in Japan overworking and dying as a result. And I honestly think that this episode, when people were making it, they had the voice actor of Bulma, Hiromi Tsuru, in mind when they were filming this, saying that people collapsed while working, people overworked. Uh, and not only her, but also other people that we don't get to know much about because they're working in behind the scenes, doing animation stuff. Those are actual artists out there with lives that overwork and just don't get paid enough, and there's deadline after deadline, and we enjoy their content but we don't know them, we don't spend the time to get to know every person that has worked in a anime that we have watched, or in a television show, or in a cartoon. And these are people that really do make such experiences possible, yet they don't get as much recognition. And in a way, this episode really did highlight their importance, and it really, really did basically symbolize a beacon for them, in my perspective. This episode was like a colossal roads built for the forgotten, behind the scene individuals who make anime, cartoons, and series possible through their hard work and with no recognition. So this episode goes directly to those guys, just without say, most definitely. Now, let's get started. The first scene is the cat scene. And when I saw that scene, first thing that came to mind, first thing that came to mind is, oh, the old Team 7 type missions. Yes, we are stretching back to the Naruto roots, but I just hope they don't make too many parallels. But that was, a good call on Team 7's first scene mission, because the first mission we see Team 7 do is actually them pursuing a cat. So that was a good callback to that classical moment in Naruto history. And after that mission, you see Boruto talking about, "Hey, like I'm a ninja now. Why aren't I doing something more flashy? Why can't I go and fight some more ninja like I did the last time? Why aren't I stopping some thieves or bandits? Like why am I doing all of this?" And again, this stresses the aspect of reward and recognition, because in Boruto's mind at this point, reward equals recognition. And one of the main themes of this episode is reward does not equal recognition. You could achieve an internal type reward without being recognized. And that is where, that sort of plot starts, with Boruto saying that, hey, it's not worth it if I don't get recognized, I'm sure you guys know the feeling of not feeling recognized after you do something just completely awesome and you just don't get called out for it. And this is basically what Boruto's dealing with, but on an extreme scale. Now, right after that, you have people like Konohamaru, people like Naruto, and I'll give them props. At first, I thought their reply would be something along the lines of, "Hey, When you're a genin, you have to do these things. But no, that wasn't the reply. Konohamaru's first reply, not the second one. Actually, no, I think it was the second one. He first replies with, yes, when you're a genin, you have to do this. But then he says this. He says that, I don't think you understand the implications of being a ninja in the modern world. And this is where you have an understanding that the people making this anime really do think these things through, because in a time of peace, conflict is rare, because peace, you don't want to irritate other folk that you're peaceful with. You don't want to do something that will grab the attention of the Raikage in the wrong way, or the Tsuchikage, or the Mizukage, or the Kazekage. You get the point. You don't want to start shit, because stuff is peaceful, and you are just part of the peace now, and you have to stay that way. So conflict is down. And it kind of also highlights the struggle of the importance of ninja in the modern world. Like, what are ninja important for now? If there's no conflict, why do you need a military? That's basically what is said. And that goes back to Tsuchikage's old, worry about, oh, when peace arrives, the soldiers will be weakened. And then the state with the strongest soldiers wins. And yes, and the soldiers that you have become useless because they don't have experience anymore. So that's Tsuchikage Onoki's old worry way back during the Kage Summit. And we're getting to see this in action because, now there's not enough conflict. Therefore, the demand for these skills is going down. So therefore, the quality of those skills most likely is going to go down too. Basic economics right there. I know some of you hate economics, but, just bear with me with a little bit. I'm not going to talk about economics that much. There's just one more thing that relates to economics and this episode, which I think is great. But if you're not into this, not everything will be your cup of tea. Some things you'd like, some things you don't like. That's just how life works. So right after that, Mitsuki and Boruto leave, and he just purchases a video game. And he sees Lee and Kiba, and I have to admit, I know some of you guys hate Kiba so much, but I'm gonna be straight honest with you guys. I don't mind Kiba. I know from a ability standpoint, he sucks, really sucks. But I kind of enjoy his persona, because he's a cheery type person, and sometimes in my life, I really want a cheery type person like Kiba that doesn't have the depressing backstory, or sometimes I just want that sort of competitive, non-depressing person. And it's very nice to have this type of guy in the team, but I don't think he's going to be as strong as Boruto, as strong as Naruto. Obviously, at this point, he's a lot stronger than Boruto, and I don't think he was exaggerating when he said that he could have taken the thieves down, because at this point, we could easily assume that he is high-tier Jonin level, because every single time we've seen mention of the great shinobi that participated in the war, his face was among the people there. So you could assume that he has grown yet more from the experience after the experience of the Great War. Now, the after this refreshing part, you see Sarada coming by, and Sarada's like, "Hey guys, this is urgent. We have a mission." And Boruto's like, "Oh, another one of those lame requests." And she's like, "No, we have to prevent a hostage type situation in a bank." And Boruto's mind just goes flashing. He's like, "Yes!" And he daydreams of him just defeating this muscular guy. But in reality, and again, we're talking about modern day stuff. You don't have to be strong and buff to rob a place. You just need weapons. And that's what you see this guy have. This guy has a explosive jacket and a detonation button. And basically what he's going through right now is he's just a depressed person who's been shoved to a corner, and he's hesitant on killing himself or robbing the bank because he's in too deep and he wasn't prepared for it anyways. So when they arrive at the police station, two things are very important to note. We get introduced to a new character called Pataro Fuma. And I think it's worth noting that he's not actually from the Fuma clan, because Fuma is his first name, not his last name. So he's not a member of the Fuma clan that we know from Naruto from a few episodes. Because there is a Fuma clan, and we do know members of the Fuma clan, but he is not a member of the Fuma clan. Let's get that straight. Okay. The second thing is that the Uchiha police force is kind of getting revived with members that aren't only Uchiha. So you have Uchiha, or you're gonna have Uchiha with Sarada, maybe, but it's not going to be solely Uchiha. It's going to be Uchiha and other clans. Therefore, it won't be a racial degradation type deal as the original Uchiha police force was. You know, people really don't like people that enforce order for obvious reasons, because those are the same people that go after guys that are smoking weed and having a good time. Those are the same people that go after, you know, crimes like that. So you can't have fun around those folks, so you end up hating them, and people die at the hands of police, so they're hated for that too. And this is something that, you know, I have to tie back to real life, because I lived in Egypt and my country was touched with by that. A lot of people really hated the police after the Egyptian revolution, because so many people died at their hands. And yeah, being a member of that police force meant that you were hated by a lot of folk back home where I'm from. And now I can't even imagine if there was an ethnicity tied to being a policeman. In a way, it's similar to how Jews in Europe were discriminated against because their religion allowed them to be capable of running banks, while traditional Christians couldn't because of certain aspects of their religion that prevented them from doing certain things in banks that Jews were allowed to do. So the same people that, you know, collected your taxes also had a united ethnicity, aka Jews. So you have a similar situation with the Uchiha, and that's the whole thing. So that system is being abolished. So that's nice. That's refreshing. In the new Boruto world, Naruto has, or no, I think it was Kakashi, probably Kakashi that did this, where he recreated the police force, but instead of the Uchiha solely enforcing order, you have people from other clans, people without clans, other ninja doing it. Now, I'd like to remind you guys what a special Jonin is. A special Jonin isn't as skilled as a regular Jonin. He is less skilled. It's just he has a specialization in a certain field in which he is classified as Jonin, and the other fields he is not. The two main examples of special Jonins are Ebisu and Anko, where Ebisu specialized in education, and he was an educational Jonin. That's it. Anko, I think, was tracking, but I'm not sure. And even so, I'd actually really like to know if Anko is an actual Jonin now, and I hope to God that she is. Oh, yes. All right, so moving forward, you have Potoro Fuma talking about how wealth in Konoha, basically Konoha went through a industrialization type phase, and during this industrialization type phase, what ended up happening is the gap between the wealthy and the rich increased. And that's what usually happens during industrialization, because you have the people at the top in control of more people at the bottom, and the need for certain laborious tasks increases, and the market becomes bigger. Therefore, you know, there are more people at the bottom and less people at the top. Less people call. Actually, no, there are more people at the bottom and less people at the top. And that's just the way things work, because you can't. Not everyone could be wealthy, and if the scope of things increases, then this is the way it's going to go. Because, like, think of money as, actually no, I'm not going to get into this because I could talk about this for hours. So let's let's move on. Okay, so Kuruma is a game programmer, and that's the suicide bomber, and he talks about how he was overworked and how people demanded stuff of him that he didn't do, and then he was wrongly accused of selling out his company, and then he was kicked out, and it's pretty depressing. And he talks about, and this is the keyword he says a lot of my companions collapsed from work. And yes, collapsed means faint, but I'm guessing some of it includes, you know, people actually dying from exhaustion, like a lot of people in Japan. A lot of stuff has happened to people in Japan like that in recent events and prior. So I'm guessing he's alluding to that. And also the fact that animators, voice actors, don't get the recognition that they do for all the work that they do, for all of the stuff that they put themselves through um, in Japan. So I think that was a call out for them. As I said, I think this is the colossal roads for animators and those folks standing in the background. This is a beacon for them, letting the world know that they, well, not letting the world obviously, but you know what I mean. It's like a sign for them. This is their monument, in my perspective. I think this episode is a monument for those people working in the background. Now, basically, Boruto goes on to discuss his struggles and sorry, Humura, um, Horoma, basically goes on to discuss his struggles, and Boruto's listening, and he's just devastated. Like, okay, I understand you now. And basically, what ends up happening is he tries to commit suicide. Boruto convinces him not to because he shows him his game. And this is the thing. This is why, like, I could vouch not for that because obviously I've never been in a situation like this, but there was a time when I was early on YouTube, and I made a lot of videos. I wasn't sure if people were actually watching them, and when I got like my first comments, I just felt so relieved because I felt like people were actually recognizing my work and enjoying it. And at this point, I was like, yes, it's actually working. So this is like a miniature scale of like what happened over there, where like this guy actually sees people enjoying his work, enjoying what he spent hours doing and slaving over. He's like, you know what? It was worth it if kids like you could enjoy their time, uh, like playing that game. So right after that, Boruto ends up disabling the bomb, makes an escape, and I honestly think that this chapter would have been a lot better without that last indicator that there was a third party involved. I think that third party involved indication made the episode slightly worse. Because if it was its own thing, then then yeah, I think it would have been better because it would not steal the light from this guy. In fact, maybe if this guy had succeeded in committing suicide and Boruto was affected by that, maybe that episode would have been a lot more powerful. Um, that's basically all of my thoughts on this episode. I thought it was amazing, as I said before. Just a lot of little tidbits, a lot of little things hidden in Nixon and Cronus. Oh, and by the way, the preview to next episode. This gang that Boruto and the others are going to be fighting. One of the members, and if you haven't seen the preview, get out of the video now, because one of the members actually used Ice Style. So I'm wondering if it's one of those deals with like Keke Genkai users and how they were outcasts. And I'm starting to think, I worry if it is, because it would kind of be something of a that goes against the main plot of the series and stuff that's been going on, because there have been two big plots concerning people that have been discriminated against because of their Keke Genkai. Actually, no, three: Zabuza and Haku. There has been Kakashi in his novel with Kahyu and the other guy, her brother, who is dead. Oh, don't read the novel; it's terrible. Uh, the translation is just atrocious. And the third one, I'm struggling. What was the third one? Oh yeah. The third one was Sasuke in his novel, and how he saved a bunch of Keke Genkai users from En Otsuyu. Keep forgetting his name. Atsuyu En, I think, was his name. How he saved a bunch of Keke Genkai users from the black market and basically gave them to the hidden cloud. That was the third one. So we've already had three narratives in which the oppressed Keke Genkai users were saved. So really don't think we're gonna get a fourth. So maybe the plot's gonna be something else. I hope it's not Keke Genkai related with oppression, because we've already gotten a lot of that. I mean, I wouldn't mind it that much, but still, it's kind of getting old at this point. So let me know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Please tell me what you guys think about this episode, everything I said. If you disagree with me, like, you are not obligated. You are not obligated to agree with me. If you disagree with me, tell me what you disagree with me down in the comments below. And we're just going to have a discussion, and maybe you're going to change my mind. I don't know. And until next time, guys, this is Anime Gypsy, and I'm out.